What is happening, everyone? It's Ben Nelson here with the Tech Intern Show. I'm back today with the Montana Code School. Super excited. New guests. We share some of the Big Sky co-working space, which we're in now, so that's super fun. Back in Bozeman for school, sophomore year, studying marketing at Montana State. So excited to be back on campus, meeting up with friends, and getting back to the school grind. Definitely a little change in pace from the summer. Not too much about me that's super new. Kind of want to drop it to you guys to kind of introduce yourself, and then we'll get right into the meat of the content.
Cool.
Go for it.
Sounds good. I'll go first. My name is Mark. I'm an instructor at the Code School. I've been teaching for a couple of years. I'm only working that part-time. I also am a software engineer at Tripletree. I've been programming for like 7 or 8 years now. That's me.
I'm Georgie, also instructor at the Code School. Kind of like same thing. I've been doing this for 2 years now. This is the next one will be my 4th cohort. Kind of like took the traditional line to coding. I really liked it in high school. It kind of came easy to me. And then I studied computer science and business. The only kind of like weird thing is I was a little bit burned out actually after starting it. So took a detour, kind of like was a ski instructor for a while, and then came back to coding when the mountains ran out where I moved to. So,
Nice.
So that was that. Worked a few years in Boston as a web engineer, front-end engineer. And then came back to the mountains, found Bozeman 5 years ago, really love it here. And then again, 2 years kind of this opportunity came out to teach at the Code School. Love it. So.
Nice. And so what do you do now at the Code School? Are you like one of the head professors?
Professors. We got that asked by students. That was a funny anecdote actually. One of the last cohorts, one of the students asked us, well, how should we address you guys? And Mark obviously pretentious how he is said, I want to be called professor.
Yeah, and they still call it.
Until it stick, yeah. So professor I would say is a little bit over the top for us.
Instructors are
instructor is I feel like especially in that realm of a code school more than appropriate. And that's kind of we're very informal to students. We're not we're first name basis, everything. So I feel like
Nice.
the vibe comes across in the first sessions that this is not that we are kind of on a plain level,
Right.
We're maybe a little bit more experienced in our field and we want to share that knowledge, but we definitely don't want to come across of oh, you don't know nothing and we're going to teach you the way or we're going to show you the
Right.
ropes. It's really kind of collaborative. And,
no power moves.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of crucial to just the overall philosophy of Code School. Is that it's not this I have this knowledge, I'm going to impart it on you and you will, then you can go off into the world and succeed. It's
Right.
just hey, we're some dudes who know some things, and if you want to come and learn and ask questions and take a lot of responsibility for your own experience, Code School is perfect for you.
So that's a good segue. Talk a little bit about for someone who's totally green to a code school. Talk a little bit about what students go through in their time as a part of the school, what kind of the curriculum you go through, where do you start, where do you finish? Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's right now we have a part-time program, so that's a 6-month program. We have 2 weeknights, Tuesday, Thursdays usually, and then what we do, we have one so-called immersive weekends, where the students come in Saturday, Sunday, 8 hours, or 10 hours even, with a lunch break. So it's really targeted towards people who don't want to quit their day job, so you can still have a day job and go to school. It is fairly packed schedule obviously because we still give you a little bit of homework and we want you to work on your projects outside of class. So it's definitely challenging if you have a full-time job, but it's doable and people are still able to make a career shift after. What else is there curriculum-wise? I guess we can talk a little bit too what we teach, how it's generally structured.
Yeah. So it starts off with like, I mean, because we have kind of like a rough syllabus, but it's very flexible. I think we're code schools across multiple cities, and I think like they even teach different stacks sometimes. But typically, you learn JavaScript, and you learn a whole stack all in JavaScript to build a web application. And so we start the course with the first couple of months being just like the basics. And that's kind of everything from just like working a for loop, a lot of like exercises where, reverse all the letters in a string. And then we start introducing like more and more technologies. So you'll start working with like an API, external libraries. And then it's kind of like, I know it's like each class that I've taught, we've introduced React like sooner and sooner.
Yeah.
So like within the first month, you're probably farting around React. And then beyond that, it's just like super flexible. The past couple cohorts, we've been teaching Adonis.js for the backend, which is like an API framework that kind of handles everything for you, from like authentication to like a database management to all of your API routing. So the whole purpose, as fast as we can, is to get you building something.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we feel like it's doable, like kind of within the students' levels and what the pace is and where they're at, we'll start with just kind of like a small, like 5-week project.
Yeah, I would say so. It's kind of like the first project.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like alternating that too. We some students are very eager with their own ideas, so even for the first project, we let them kind of like build out their own ideas. And some groups, they kind of like it for the first project if we give them idea. For example, what we did, like rebuild Instagram, right? Just like we said, like build Instaham, right? Like you post like your pictures of your favorite meats on a timeline, and that's kind of like your challenge that, and we kind of give them the basic user case scenarios there, and they built that for that first project.
I think both the past 2 classes, that's happened at month 3. It's like halfway
Right.
into it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Start project.
So typically 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of students that'll come in like having a lot of knowledge, and like where's the spectrum between like a lot of students come in with like really sound understanding and others like me would come in with like HTML and CSS, like very basic level?
Yeah, there is like a pre-work assignment, so you're expected to at least have some experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that might be for some people. It seems like some people would blow through that in a week. Others might take, I don't know, 40 hours, and they can do that in a month.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer the question, it's kind of all over the place. It's the whole gamut. There are people who have like CS degrees that I've taught, and there's people who come in with absolutely no knowledge of any programming,
Right.
except hopefully that pre-work.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
kind of why we have to be so flexible.
Yeah.
And that's usually a good thing, like for the group dynamics too, that you can't naturally. So what we do, what we're big on in the courses too, is something called like mob programming. So we are not programming individually almost ever. Besides outside of class, when people want to work on their stuff, they obviously do stuff on their own. But even then, they meet up and kind of like on their own terms.
Mm-hmm.
But in class, we hardly have people programming on their own. So they always do something called mob programming, where one person is at the keyboard, they're kind of like the driver, right, the typer. And then we have the second person being the navigator. That's the person who talks out the solution, their idea, and kind of tells the driver what to type. And then depending how big the group size is, you have the other people kind of chiming in on the solution. So with that being said, coming back to the different levels where people are initially, there's like teachers besides of us get like granulated out of that super quickly. Some people know more and they can help others along, and that's what we want to see, because I feel like that's what companies want to see out there. They not necessarily want to see the best coder who can do it all by themselves. They want to see people collaborate. They want to see people who can talk through their solution to someone else,
Right.
and not getting frustrated with
Right.
someone who maybe knows less. I feel like that's really something that's important. There's like, I feel like a little bit of stigma around our profession still, where you kind of sit in your corner and you don't talk to anyone. And that's a very small portion of a programmer's time, I would say, like actually coding the solution. Much more important is kind of like being able to talk to a client or to your boss or to whoever the stakeholder is, like talking through a solution, maybe bringing up a better solution if they come with an idea to you, kind of like massaging that solution. So really those communication skills, like technical communication skills, I feel like is key, and that's, I think, for me personally, what I want people to come away with, that they are comfortable talking out solutions, comfortable asking senior developers, you know, if they maybe get stuck somewhere. But really that communication piece is huge. And I feel like that mob programming is like essential to that, getting comfortable with that.
And so you think that like with the curriculum and everything else, that's one of the more important pieces, is like helping people learn how to collaborate in different scenarios and like talking out the solution. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I know a lot of companies, including work at, we do a fair amount of like pair programming. We got like these like I consider like social like problem solving, because you get a lot better solutions.
Yeah, that's
you build a
another
code
factor
base
of that,
that's much more stable when you have a lot of people's input. And so, and I know we're not the only ones. A lot of companies are doing that, and I like to think that it's one place that we can shine over maybe a typical CS degree.
Yeah.
With a lot of these like collaborative techniques. But I don't really know. I mean, every CS program is different. Maybe they teach that in this.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too,
Right.
so maybe that made it into the curriculum. I just remember it for when I studied, it was kind of...
Here's the basement.
Yeah, it's the lab. We don't have any windows, I'm sorry.
Here's the
Yeah, true.
while you program.
So, so again, that's kind of like the notion, and I haven't been at the university level like for a while, so maybe that has changed, but I feel like the code schools, that's definitely a big factor, that collaborative solution problem solving where we can shine, like Mark said. So
That's awesome.
We try to also, and with varying success, implement like improv exercises into like daily class.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you do like real world scenario kind of things along with like the mob sort of collaborating thing.
Yeah, and just like there are tons of books written on like improving agile teams. So they just have exercises to make teams like work better, communicate better, and just kind of like generate that X factor, like make a team kind of click. So some of the things that we do, like Georgie, I'll do it right now, won't we? Let's tell
don't put me on the spot.
tell a story, one word at a time, one sentence. The
bus driver
died.
and
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I remember this now because I've done this too. And it's just like, how do you work efficiently with people and also like keep the ball rolling?
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like some of the things that we've done, there's like a game where you are trying to block, like someone's gonna block you, where you'll tell a story where like the bus driver died, and then a person can say no, and then you have to redo that thought. So the bus driver lived, and then they'll let you continue the next sentence, and they're like, and then he went to work. And they're like, no, like, oh, he went to the store. And so you can build a whole story like that where someone is like actively kind of like impeding you. And so I noticed just like in, every job I worked at, you'll often like come up with an idea and be like, hey, look, how does this look like? And then they'll just be like, no.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really good to like try to keep it going rather than just like fight about it. So it's just kind of like those communication skills that I think we do a good job improving in the 6 months.
Interesting.
And programming is, I feel like it's the industry, or not the industry, but the skill itself is, there's a lot of ways for a solution. You can like code anything, but is it a good solution or a bad solution? It usually depends on the person who's going to use your product or something in the end. So again, coming back to what Mark said, like if the client says like no, I envision it like this, it's kind of like it's taking that as like positive feedback and not saying, well, I know it, I'm the programmer, you know, like, so kind of like, okay, this is what they wanted, okay, they thought this, maybe this works like that. And usually the client or someone else you're working with, it has the so-called domain knowledge. They kind of like, I don't know, an accounting, like really basic example, and you're building them an accounting software, they have like the accounting knowledge. You as the programmer don't have the accounting knowledge. So you kind of gotta learn their terminology or learn their way of doing things and put it in code. And that's the hard part. Like I would say that the easy part is actually typing something out in JavaScript when you have the solution. The hard part is really kind of like, is this the right solution? Is this what they want from me? And getting that out of whoever your stakeholder is like the hard part. And if that's where good programmers, in my opinion, succeed.
Translating like the business practice
exactly.
to like the actual code.
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, those soft skills make all the difference.
That's interesting because that's like what I wouldn't think of a code school would teach you is like, I would expect like learning how to code and then like collaborative things and like working with clients like off to the side. But it sounds like it's at the forefront, so that's really cool. Like something I wouldn't expect.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're big on. We like even programming languages. There's like tons out there, and if people hear programming, they always I feel like go there. Oh, I need to learn this language. I need to learn JavaScript because this is hot right now. Or I need to learn like Python. I need to learn this and that. I feel like this is all kind of like secondary. It's like once you kind of like get how programming works, how to like problem solve in code, you can translate that more important knowledge into any language. You know. So I feel like the way we have been teaching is definitely, well, let's put the technical kind of problem solving first, collaboratively again.
Right.
And then like, once you have that down, that process, you can translate that in any programming language and you can actually learn whatever language you want or like your client needs from you. Because that's like, enough, like the likelihood these days that you know the language that a potential employer wants you to know is like
which month
it's like a 10% chance that matches up, you know.
Nice.
So like if you are comfortable, like okay, this is just different syntax or different language, but I can code, I can come up with good solutions, and then I just learn that new language, and I feel like that's much more important to the people not come out of code school. I know JavaScript, I know it all, and then it's like, well, I need you to code in PHP, and then they feel like the whole world breaks apart for them. That's another thing we don't want to have people kind of like when they come out of the code school think that, oh, I learned JavaScript, I can't do PHP. So it's transferable. So
nice. That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much to Mark and Georgie for coming on to the Tech Intern Show, Montana's Code School. I'll link all your stuff below in the descriptions, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Super fun. Look forward to seeing you around the CoWork.
Yeah.
And best of luck. You've got a demo day for the people in Bozeman listening this coming Thursday.
Yeah.
So come check it out. People are presenting their final projects, so we get like the full scope.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Pizza, free beer.
Yeah.
26th. Perfect. Here in the Big Sky CoWork.
Yeah.
I'll drop that down below too. Perfect.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.